This is lesson 2 of Thunder Rose. Today we will explain how and or why challenges are solved. We will look for actions that are similar in the way the challenges or the problems are overcome. Before we begin, we're going to review a little bit. In lesson 1, we identified the main characters. We identified the motivation of the character. We also described what those challenges, struggles, or problems were that the characters were having. Today we will explain how and or why problems are solved. We're going to be looking specifically at the solution to the problem. A solution, boys and girls, is to fix something that is not right. It's an answer to a problem. So we're looking today for how the characters solved their problems. Specifically, Thunder Rose. Before we go any further, we're going to look at a little bit vocabulary. The first word is lullaby. If you don't know what a lullaby is, it's a song that's sung or hummed to put babies asleep. When babies are crying and they're all angry, moms usually hum a little song or sing a little song to them, and they go to sleep. So a lullaby is a song that's sung or hummed to put babies to sleep. Here's another word, tempest. Tempest means crazy, powerful, forceful storm. Vaulted. When someone vaults, they use a pole to bend down and to spring themselves over. It's like jumping over something. That's vaulted. Also rotated. Rotate means to turn and swirl. Okay. Let's take a look at some text, and then we're going to figure out how Thunder Rose solves her problem. But before we do, I want to go a little back to the beginning, because I want to go over Rose and I want to go back over her motivations. Let's take a look at this. So much in love. Let's turn this on. So much in love with this gift of their lives, her ma and pa hovered over her in watchful splendor. Overcome with that love, they lifted their voices in song, an old song and a melody so sweet and true, a lullaby passed down from the ages, echoing since the beginning of time. This is Thunder Rose saying this. There is music ringing so sweetly in my ears, the newborn exclaimed. It's giving me a fortunate feeling rumbling deep in the pit of me. I'll register it here at the bullseye set in the center of my heart and see what I can do with it one day. So the author wants me to know just how much Rose's mom and pa loved her. So Rose's motivation is to put that song in her heart. She knows her mom and dad loves her, and she wants to see what she can do with that song that's stored away deep inside of her heart. Okay, let's go back over this from lesson 1. We're going to go over the problem. So we know the motivation. Rose has a song in her heart, and she wants to know what she can do with it one day. So remember, as we read a story, we're going to have several problems and several motivations, but the main motivation is that song that Rose wants to know what she can do with one day. By the time she turned 12, Rose had perfected her metal bending practices. She formed her delicately shaped alphabet letters to help the young ones learn to read. For his birthday, Rose presented her pa with a branding iron, a circle with a big MAC for Magruder in the middle, just in time, too, because a herd of quick-tempered longhorn steer was stampeding its way up from the Rio Grande. They were plowing a path straight toward her front door. So remember, the problem is a stampede. And if you remember from lesson 1, a stampede is a mad rush of cattle coming straight for you. It can be very dangerous, very harmful. So I need to think now, what is Rose going to do in order to solve her problem? And remember, we're going to talk about it again, but she wants to get these cattle to market. So let's see what she's going to do to stop these cattle from stampeding. Rose performed an eye-catching wonder, the likes of which was something to see. Running lightning fast toward the herd, using Cole for support, Rose vaulted into the air and landed on the back of the biggest lead steer like he was a merry-go-round pony. Grabbing a horn in each hand, Rose twisted that varmint to a complete halt. I know that halt means to stop. So she vaults and she lands on top of his back. She grabs his horns. She twists him to make him stop. It was just enough to restrain that top bull and the rest of the herd. So the problem is the Stampede is coming toward her. What does she do or say to fix the problem? We just said it. What does she do? She vaults. She uses Cole, remember her medal, to vault into the air. She lands on the back of the steer. She grabs. Grabbing is a verb. She grabs a horn in each hand. She twists is a verb. She grabs, she twists to a complete halt. So, what did Rose do or say to try to fix her problem? She used Cole to vault on the steer and stop him. She hummed up. Before we begin with this next part, I want to read this. But I believe what touched the critter's heart was when Rose began humming her little tune. The cantankerous ton of beef was restless no more. He became as playful as a kitten, and even tried to purr. Rose named him Tater on account of that was his favorite vegetable. Hearing Rose's lullaby put that considerable creature to sleep was the sweetest thing I had witnessed in a long time. So her solution doesn't stop there. She just doesn't put him to a halt. She hums to him. She sings that lullaby that was hidden in her heart. And what does that lullaby do? It calms him and it puts him to sleep. I want you to remember that, because the author wants us to know something special about this little song that is in Rose's heart from the love that her parents have for her. Now, you are going to read on your Google form, about the problem she had with the thieves, Jesse Bang and his men who were trying to take the steer away from Thunder Rose. You are also going to figure out what she says and what she does to solve the problem. On part 2, you are going to figure out what Rose is going to do to stop those tornadoes that are coming straight at her. Remember, you have to remember the motivation. Rose wants to use the song that's in her heart, and she wants to stop the winds so that she can make the clouds give water to the hot, thirsty steer that will not move. She wants to get them to market it. So let's take a look at those illustrations. Let's see if I can get all of this. All right. So if you remember here, let's see, let's go back. Here's Rose when she's humming that tune to Tater. Look at him. The text says he's playful as a kitten. Remember that? They're comparing. So Tater is sleeping. He's just like a little kitten because of the song that Rose hummed to him. Now, let's go on. Here, look at Tater now. He's very angry. And Rose knows that she has to do something to help get those steer to move. They wouldn't move. So you remember, she lassoed a cloud. She tried to squeeze water out of it, but that cloud became very, very angry, and it became a rotating column of air, which came swirling and swirling around, picking up everything in its path. It sneaked up on Rose. Whoa there! Now, just hold on a minute, Rose called out to the storm. Tater was helpless to do anything about that sort of wind. Those meddlesome clouds caused it. They didn't take kindly to someone telling them what to do, and they were set on creating a riotous rampage all on their own. So there are the steer. They're stuck out in the middle of nowhere because they won't move. They're hot and thirsty, and you know that when you're thirsty, it's very hard to do anything. Look at what it says. Oh, this riled Rose so much, she became the only two-legged tempest to walk the western plains. You don't know who you're fooling with, Rose called out to the storm. Her eyes flashed lightning. She bit down and gnashed thunder from her teeth. I don't know why anyone would want to mess with a pretty young woman who had the power of thunder and lightning coursing through her veins. So what is she doing? Remember we said the word tempest was a powerful, crazy, strong storm. So Rose is saying to those clouds and that wind, hey, I'm bigger and I'm stronger than you are. I'm the biggest, baddest tempest to walk these plains. So she's telling those storms, I'm a bigger storm than what you are, and you better watch out. So we go on. Here, look at the illustration. You see this tornado? It's coming straight for her. So on lesson 2, part 2, you are going to read this section of text, and you're going to decide how Rose stopped those mad tornadoes from coming through to destroy everything. Remember her motivation. She wants to get those cows or those steer to the market, and she wants to be able to use the song that's in her heart. So remember that when you decide how she's solving her problems, how she's coming about a solution. Remember to think about what she says and what she does to fix her problem. Thanks. I'll see you for lesson 3. Thank you.